everybody, and welcome to a Lefty Knitter podcast. This is episode 241. My name's Aquila, and I live in Baltimore with my husband, my cats, my kids, my fish, plants, and lots of yarn. So my podcast is primarily about knitting. I also crochet and spin and do lots of different crafty things. So welcome if you are a new subscriber to the channel. Oh, and sock cranking. I totally forgot about that. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, thank you for checking me out. And if you are a returning viewer, I really appreciate that you guys keep coming back to see what I'm doing here on this channel. So it has been a while. Did I say it's episode 241? I think so. It's been like 2 weeks. So I had taken a week off thinking I might post while we were down in the Outer Banks, but that didn't happen. So sorry. We love going to the Outer Banks. It's one of our favorite trips of the year, and we had a blast. I shouldn't say finally. We had good weather. The first couple days, it was a little chilly in the high 60s, it was like low to mid 60s, but the rest of the week was wonderful. Hayes had a great time at the beach. We had fun fishing. It was a wonderful time. We had a few hiccups, like the water pump on the truck, but it is fixed, and the people at the campground are amazing, and I thanked them profusely because they didn't have to help us, like other campers. They didn't have to help, but they did. So I knew I was going to be going on this trip, and what did I have to do? Well, I had to cast on a new project because it's a lot of drive time. From where we are to where we go, it's 7 to 8 hours, and usually even more than that, because you make stops. You know, you're just not driving straight through. That usually does not happen. So, I decided I needed to cast something new on. I was gifted this pattern. Thank you to the person who gifted it to me. I didn't know if I could say names, so I'm not saying names. But this is the Coorie in Poncho. I'm going to put a link down below. I always try to put links for the pattern, and if it's a Ravelry pattern, I do put that in front of the link just in case, because some people still have some issues viewing the website. So I cast this on. Now this calls, I believe, for a DK weight yarn. Well, I just went off the rails. I had found some handspun that I had done, I don't know, 2018 maybe, and I wanted to use this. It came more like a sport weight. I used the needles I believe called for in the pattern. I used a 6 and an 8. I have them in here. I can tell you. A 6 for the ribbing. Now this is a poncho. Did I say that? I don't think I did. And a... Dang, where's the other needle tips? These are the carbons. I love these. If you've never knit with these, this is not metal. It's like carbon. I guess it's carbon fiber. I'm not quite sure. But I love these needles a lot. So I was gifted this fiber from a friend, and I spun it up. Like I said, I think it was 2018. I spun this up. It's Into the World. I think it was one of their club colorways. I'm using Antidote. And you can see down here my little notes. I had made 2 skeins out of it, a 2-ply, and they totaled 360 yards total for this 4 ounce, around 4 ounces. And then I was gifted this, and I'm pretty sure this person is not. Oh, un momento. This is O Wool Sport. So both of these are sport-ish weight. This was gifted to me from Paige. Hi, Paige. Paige the Framer, if you don't know who I'm talking about. The colorway is Night Heron. Now, I used every bit of my handspun and every bit of this skein. I also used a mini from 28 Bridges. It's a fingering weight mini, but you'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. I need to block this today. It's super nice out, so I think I'm going to soak it today. That's going to be part of my plan. Oh, sorry, I'm dropping stuff. That's a very long tail. So, the Coorie is a poncho, and you do this ribbing at the top, and on the back, you do some short row shaping, So you can see how the V kind of goes down versus it doesn't go as deep on that side, okay? And that's to accommodate for this right here, the short rows. I know the person that gifted it to me, and she also gifted it to Barb from Flame and Fiber, who also made one of these, and that's when I saw this project, and I said I really liked it, and then the person gifted it to me, so yeah. They both decided to omit that, and they said it fits them fine without the short rows. And then what I did is I alternated every 2 rows between the oval and my handspun. I did a little bit at the top. I didn't do that. I did a couple rows without the handspun. And then I alternated. And then I got to a point where I stopped. I stopped using the main color, the main blue. And I knit all with my handspun. So from here to here is all my handspun. And whatever I had left, I was just going to do ribbing. And that's what I did. So once my handspun ran out, I added the ribbing. And then I did a 3-stitch I-cord bind off with that 28 Bridges colorway. And I think once it blocks, it will be really cool looking. I was going to do a crazy pop of color, but I decided against it. So let's just throw this on real quick to show you guys. A good blocking is going to help this because I think it will make it longer. So I really wanted to make this because I have an office in the basement for work and it gets cold down there and I like being able to throw something on. So this is what I'm going to plan to throw on because I will still be able to pull my hands out and work. So the raglan increases are in the front and down your arms. So I'm gonna block this out super aggressively. Let's see if I can move this like that. I love it so much. Like I said though, I am gonna block it like super aggressive. And if you can even see the back where that shaping is. I love it so much. And I love that I used my hand spun. Okay. So, the other project that you guys, if you've been around, I've been making those blocks for the cardigan, and I'm going to mess the name up again. It's the vintage quilt cardigan. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself. But I finished all my blocks, and then it was like 3 days before vacation, and I was like, I need to block them. So today, what I think I'm also going to do is going to get a piece of cardboard from a box that we have, probably something we ordered. I'm sure we have a box in the recycling. I'm going to cut out my pieces to the size that they're supposed to be, or cut out a piece, I should say, and then I'm going to pin them all out so they all match. So, man, I love this. It looks so good on camera, too. I'm so excited for this. And I love that I did not too much of a pop of color. And I know some people might not like that it's the I-cord bind off at the edge of ribbing, but it does not bother me. Again, this is for, warmth in my basement. So I am really not worried about it. So... oh my god, and it was a very potato chippy, mindless knit because it's you're just doing increases, that's it, and it's very easy. You put your stitch markers where the increases are, you're good to go, and you just roll with it. I'm telling you, I finished, I put markers in so I could show you guys. So before I left, that's not a hole, that's just where I have to weave in all the ends. Okay. So I'd put stitch markers in so I could show you guys. I'd finished from here to here at home in the 2 days before we left. I think a bird just hit our window. At least that's what it sounded like. I hope it's okay. Okay, and then I knit from here to here. I have a stitch marker. Right here, you can barely see it. from beginning of driving to the end of vacation, which I didn't knit a ton while we were actually camping. I had another project, which I'll show you at another time, to about here. And from here to almost all of the hand spun was on the drive home. Now that's still a lot of knitting, considering you have a lot of stitches in the round. So from there, and then I just put this in because I knew this is where I wanted to start and stop, because this is the back point. I wanted to start and stop my I-cord at the same at that back point. I don't think I needed to, but I just kind of didn't want it on the front in a weird space. So I did it in the back so I wouldn't see it. But so you have a lot of stitches going in the round. So from there to where the ribbing starts was a lot of knitting on our drive home. And it was a pleasurable drive home. We had great weather for the drive home, unlike last year, which we actually had to wait a day to come home because the wind was so bad, and they were like, do not pull a camper over these bridges. So we waited an extra day, and the weather was still scary. Not gonna lie. So, all right, that's what I have to show you for today. I'm so excited about that, and I'm gonna block it today because I can't wait to wear it. Because even in summer, with the air conditioning on in the house, it's cold down there. So I'm pointing like where you know where my basement is. Okay, I'm gonna go. Until the next clip, guys. So the rest of this week and the weekend has just flown by. I thought, when I first looked at my calendar, I was like, oh, we don't have anything on the calendar. And then we ended up having 2 things on the calendar, and then we created like 3 new things. So it was a busy weekend. So I did finish, I blocked my Coorie poncho, and I have already worn it. So the day I blocked it, I was wearing it outside because the girls, I say girls, but the kiddos wanted to swim. Now I can't figure out which is the front. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I can tell by my I-cord bind off. Okay, so this is the back. It blocked out super nice. It is so drapey. And it's wonderful. I will try to remember to get some video and pop it in. I am so glad I made this. The modifications that I made is I ended up using a sport weight versus a DK, and it came out just fine. I used the same needles it called for, but just used sport, and I love it. I had used a little ball of 27 bridges of a fingering weight, and I didn't. I'm really not sure. My phone cut me off, but I was talking about doing an I-cord bind off, and this thing is great. I love it so much. So, yeah, I would make this again for a gift for somebody I know, and that might happen in the future, and maybe I will use the proper weight. I don't know. Sorry, if you hear clanging, I can take that off. This is a new bracelet I purchased from a craft show. They were doing like a craft fair, and they do it like every week in front of the campground, and yeah, so I bought that. I'll take it off because it's making a lot of noise. I had no yarn left. Like, I think I stated that in the beginning. So Tammy from Cinematic Skeins, I will link down below, has a podcast. Also, she hasn't dyed yarn in a while, but she has been playing around with making bats for spinning. She's been spinning a lot. She sent me this bat here. This was just in her stash. She sent me this to spin because she knew I was having a lot of fun on my new eel wheel. And then these are made by her. So Cinematic Skeins. They're just small mini bats. She asked me if I could test run them to see how they spin up, which I'm not sure if I'm the best person to ask, but I'm excited. Like, can you see this rainbowy? It's probably hard to tell. Oh my god. I don't want to take them out of here, so I'm sorry that you don't see what they look like. When I spin them, I'll make sure to like lay them out and hopefully video what they look like before I do that. But, and then I did cast on another project that I took while we, so I could have something on vacation if I didn't feel like working on that poncho. And that's usually a sock project because it's easy. All of the needles I keep in here for either a DK weight or a sock, fingering weight sock. So I have both sets of needles because I like doing 9-inch circular, but I also like using magic loop method when I cut in for my heels and when I do my toes. My one cat is ready to attack my other cat, and it's pretty funny. Nope, she's just watching her. That's hilarious. Oh my god, these cats. Okay, so what I did though, which I didn't mean to do, I messed up and for my second sock, well, I'm not done the first sock, but for my second sock, I started using the US 3, which is for the DK weight. And I was like, why is this so big? This seems wrong. Something's not right. And sure enough, I used the wrong needles. So I was gifted this yarn a long time ago. I'm not sure from where or who, but this is Mustache Yarn, who is a self-striping dyer. Definitely is still in business and selling yarn. This is the Sparkle sock, and it's a 75 merino, 20 nylon, 5 stellina. And stop it! It's bad enough my kid is fine, but now my cat, I usually lock her out of here because she'll come in here and do this stuff to try to get my attention. And she's gonna get whacked. You wanna get whacked? Do you wanna show your face? Stop eating stuff that you don't need to eat. She likes chewing on things that she shouldn't chew on. She's bad. You're a bad kitty. Aren't you? Bad kitty. Okay. So, sorry, interruptions all the time. This is called Old Glory. And they are must match skeins. So they're 2 identical skeins that are twisted together. So when you untwist the hank of yarn, you'll have 2 skeins separately that will match. I'm not sure I cast it on at the right spot, but I wasn't sure of the sequence of this, and I may have grabbed the wrong end when I cast on the second one, and that's totally, I'm not going to be mad at it. Okay, so let's show you the first one. I got to cut in the heel yet, so I haven't done that. Ah, look at that. Okay, so I love how it does the stripes, and then it looks like the blue with like the stars in it. So Old Glory, it's really a cool colorway. And I have started the next one. They're not quite, I might be kind of close. I'm kind of close. I'll take it for what it is. So I might have done it from the, stop. She's so bad. And here it is in the cake, and yeah, so I will end up, I have enough yarn from the first ball to use it for heels, because the toes and cuffs are done. So I have this much left, and I'll even have extra to throw in like a scrappy pair of socks, which is exciting because I love having scrappy socks to put on my machine, which, oh man, Erlbacher posted all their videos from their crank-in, and if you have a circular sock machine, it doesn't have to be an Erlbacher. You can watch it for all the machines and get ideas for patterns. There's one that I want to make called Dominoes, and I want to do that. It looks similar to a sock that I hand knit with a self-striping yarn, and I want to do it on my machine. So I need to pick something from here and put it on a cone and then crank it, because this is all my self-striping and I want to do it. I might try it today. I believe it's a pattern, well, I think Jan Dwyer was showing the pattern, but I don't know if that one was hers. But it's on CSM Supplies for free. I already looked it up for the pattern, but I'm not gonna it's free, but you just have to put in your email address and stuff and put it in your cart and it'll download it. You can download it for free. But I'm pretty sure in my head I already have the pattern, so I'm gonna try it. I'm super excited. Okay, so while we were in the Outer Banks, let's go back to a whole year ago. A whole year ago, on the way down, we finally stopped at one of the yarn shops that are down there. There's like, I think there's two. I mean, there might be more, but I know of two. Okay, so we stopped at the yarn shop more near Kitty Hawk, and while we were there, right next to it was this really artsy type shop. They had all kinds of stuff. They had crystals, and they had stuff that was, I think, handmade from all different artisans on the island, and they curated in this shop. Well, one of the big things in there, which is what one of the shop owners actually does, is resin art. And I was like, oh man, okay, stained glass looking resin art. So I bought a kit, and the kit came with like shell pieces and blue like glass pieces. I don't have it down here with me. It came with the 2-part epoxy that you have to mix, and it came with a frame that already had the glass in it, and it was already I want to say caulked, but I don't think it's caulk. It's it's like a clear caulk. I mean, it's some sort of like sealant. So you seal the edges of your glass to your frame, and then you put all your objects on it, and then you put the resin in it, and then you put all your objects in it. Well, I decided after we got back from this year's trip, we were able to drive on the beach this year. We bought the permit, and our truck allows us to do that because we have 4-wheel drive in this truck. So we drove on the beach, so we got a lot of really cool shells, right? We got a lot of cool shells. So I decided to ditch pretty much all the materials that came with the resin kit except for one material, and I'll show you that in a minute. Hazel and I washed all of our seashells, and some she deemed were hers and I couldn't use them, and I was okay with that. And then I took what was remaining and I made this, and I'm so happy with it. Now, the material I used from the box is kind of like, it looks like broken mirror, but it's probably not, because that would be, I couldn't have picked it up and sprinkled it all over. So it's some sort of mirror-y looking substance. And I haven't flipped this to its side yet, so I was sprinkling a lot of these pieces on the top at the end. So they might fall out only because the resin, it might not have had any resin for it to stick in. They give you very, honestly, I mean, it wasn't a little resin. It was enough to do the project that it came with. It probably needed a little more for this. So I'm going to hold it up because I'm so happy with it. See, did you hear that little piece? So we found some coral also. I am so happy with this piece. Like, it's so good. It's so good. So technically it's supposed to be the side I am not sure what she just did. The side you would see would be this side, but I'm not going to hang it that way. I am going to because you put the frame like this and you're supposed to decorate the resin, and then this is the back side. But I'm going to put a frame, a picture frame part here and hang it from that side. So it's super 3D. Can you see all the pieces hanging, like coming out? I love it so much. I am so happy with this. So I did this yesterday, and it's cured at this point because it takes like 12 hours. Oh my God. I am so happy with this. So my mom was like, "Oh, that's really pretty." I don't know. I guess I could buy these little glass pieces. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I could probably find them or something similar. So I think I might buy some 2-part epoxy and some frames from the dollar store, if the frames from the dollar store work, and then silicone. It's like silicone. I kept saying caulk. It's like, it's a silicone they use because it's clear on the edges. But oh my God, I love it so much. All right, other than that, what have I been listening to or watching? I'm not even sure. Book-wise, I'm reading a Holly Black book right now, The Book of Night, I believe. And I can't even remember the book I read right before this. I was kind of listening to some podcasts. So yeah, I can't even think of the book that I read before this Holly Black book, but that's okay. And then this cat, she just wants to be on top of me all the time. We've been watching the new season of The Circle, which that's not everybody's like cup of tea. It's a reality show and they're kicking people off, and it's all based, you don't know if the person is catfishing or whatever. And this year they had an AI on there playing one of the characters, and that was interesting. And yeah, that's about it for watching. I've just been watching, like, keeping up with all my regular shows like Abbott Elementary. I love watching that show. We watched Independence Day this weekend, like on and off. We just kept putting it on the TV. But yeah, it's been it was a very busy week and busy weekend. And so yeah, I didn't get to block any of my squares, but I did make my template. I made a cardboard template. So I'm going to block a few of these at a time. And eventually I'll have them all done and start seaming that together, because I do want that project to be finished, even though I won't be wearing it probably until the fall. And I'm okay with that. Or maybe not, because like I said, it gets cold down here. I'm in my basement. This is where my room is, my office. So I could potentially wear it down here. But all right, until the next episode, I hope you are taking care of yourselves and each other and checking in on your people and doing all the things that make you happy. And yeah, until then. Oh, and it's so we have Juneteenth this month, and it's Pride Month, so I do recognize both of those. So yeah, we always, our neighbors and we do lots of celebrating actually during this month. So it will probably be a whole busy month, honestly. And yeah, so take care of yourself, do what makes you happy, make some seashell resin art. I don't know. It made me very happy yesterday. And until the next episode, peace, love, and knit happy. All right. Bye.